Episode number 2 of Doing Life Today, the podcast where you will get filled with motivation, inspiration on how to live your best life and how to live it today, not tomorrow, not next year, not next month,
Today.
but today.
That's right.
There's nothing like today. I'm your host. I'm Bryce. This is
Producer Jesse.
I was going to call you a projector.
Projector Jesse?
Projector, no, you're a producer.
I'll take it.
All right, this is producer Jesse. And if you tuned in last week, if you missed last week's episode, oh my gosh, make sure you go check it out because Jesse was going to do something for us. And we were talking about, fears and how to get over fears and, how to move forward in life and make sure that you're, as we said, make sure you're doing life today. Make sure you're not missing anything. So last week, Jesse,
that's right,
we got into a discussion about you buying your dad a birthday present.
We did.
Okay. And that present was
There was a hot air balloon ride.
A hot air balloon ride. And we talked about the fears in it, behind it, and
yes,
hesitations on why you might not want to do it or what's
right.
holding you back.
Yeah.
And you were issued a challenge at the end of the episode. And
I was.
That was to, by this episode, to buy tickets. And do we have a drum roll?
Let's do drum roll.
Yeah. Okay, Jesse.
I have not yet completed.
Oh my God, Jesse. I am so sorry if you're watching or wherever you're listening and watching. I apologize for producer Jesse on his behalf. Now, before he even answers,
before he even answers,
well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, this is the episode. This is a segment of the episode that we call Jesse's Excuses.
Jesse's Excuses. Great. Well, my excuses for our second week, our follow-up week here. My excuses are that I still have time to do it.
Oh my God.
That's not a very good excuse.
No, it's not. Well, but so?
I still have, we're still about a week away. Actually, just less than a week away.
Okay.
I still am planning on doing it.
Okay.
So I hope here's what I'll say. I hope by next episode, I have better news for you. I hope that I will have. Can I bargain with you on that a little bit?
Let's dig into this a little bit. So,
sure.
As we know, and many of us deal with this, right? We deal with procrastination. We deal with that. Oh, okay, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Okay, you know what? I'll grab those tomorrow. Oh, wait, I got a week left, right? So let me just ask you this: are you planning like the day before, or when are you thinking?
I was planning on doing it this weekend. I think I just kind of had a hectic week. And again, now this is, I know I'm talking about excuses.
Excuse number 2.
Another excuse. But I am still planning on doing it. It did resonate with me. Now, I got to be honest. The next morning, we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
All the ins and outs of, I kind of mentioned if I was living my best life, that this is what I would do. And then you kind of threw that back in my face a little bit and said, well, you just answered your own question kind of by saying, if I was living my best life, I would do this. Yeah. And that really stuck with me. The next morning I got up and you were totally right. Head came off the pillow. I was immediately like, what did I just do? What have I signed?
What did I sign up for?
This is terrible. I got to get out of this somehow.
Yeah.
But then I kind of sat with it throughout the day and I kind of marinated on everything that we talked about. And I decided, no, I do actually need to do this. It's very important that I do it. And I've decided internally that I am going to do this. But then I guess life got a little too busy for me, and it kind of got away from me just a little bit. Okay. But I am still committed to doing it. And I think if we can do one more check-in next week, maybe we'll have to do like a double check-in if there's one this week. Who knows?
Well, this week might bleed right into that one then.
Right. This week it might. So
it might. You never know.
I guess I don't know what the topic is yet this week. But if you give me one more week, I think I'll have some good news for you by next week.
You're not building confidence in me right now.
That's fair.
You think you might have good news for me. You think you might be able to do it. You think you might want to.
I will have good news for you. Can I say that? Is that a better way to put it?
You should say that.
Okay.
You make a decision and stick to it and go for it. Because what's going to happen is, in anything, when we start, again, if you want to live what I liked about what you said, a couple of things, right?
Okay.
So number one is
Let's break it down.
You got up the next morning and you were like, your head came up the pillow and you're like, yeah, you know what? You're right. I want to. No, wait a minute.
It was the opposite.
It was the opposite. You were like
very frightened. I got up and I thought, how do I get out of this?
You're like, what am I going to do?
Yeah, I can't believe I just committed to this.
So isn't that interesting, right? So the night before, right? We're like, if and you said that you kind of not talked into it, but I took what you said and I said, if you want to live your best life, if you want to do your best life, right?
You really just showed me what I'd already said. It wasn't and that was sort of
Yeah,
a good
you're
trick.
right.
You kind of just turned it around and said, well, this is what you're projecting.
Right.
Why don't you just
Why aren't
do
you
that?
doing it?
Yeah, exactly.
So we think a lot of good things.
We do.
We dream a lot of good things.
I love to dream big.
We talk a lot of good things.
Yeah.
The difference, though, between people that are living their best life, right, successful life, they're doing, going beyond limits, are those that are, we talk about it, we think about it, we dream about it, and
Right.
then do it.
Yeah.
Right. But the honest truth is, and there's no beat up here because most of us struggle with this. People watching, people listening today, they relate. They're like, oh my God, Jesse, I know, man. I wouldn't. Whew, I'm with you. But that's what we need to change, right? If we want, when I said to you earlier, you said to me last week, and again, if you didn't hear last week's episode, probably pause right now and go back, unless you're watching live or listening live, go back and listen to and watch that first, because it was really profound, right? It was an emotional moment. I could see it in your eyes, right? Mm-hmm. Which is what I cued on. And what I said was, do you? And you said, I want to live my best. I want to live life. I want to live my best life. I want to, do better. I want, to grow every day. Right. So the thing is that it's so interesting though, how you had that, let's say whatever night that was, mm-hmm. you wake up the very next morning and immediately, again, our brains go, oh no.
Yeah.
What did I do? Right.
The fear was there.
What did I get myself into? And, that's normal and natural. And everybody deals with that. As a matter of fact, I'll give you an example in my life. I when I was speaking tours and I was speaking in big auditoriums, auditoriums. And so, if we were going to a certain city, let's say, for example, I was going to New York. So I actually spoke in Queens and Hell's Kitchen.
Oh, wow.
In New York. And, I've got some crazy stories about that, and it's just really, really exciting. But what's interesting, though, is and I love to speak. I love to get in front of a crowd, and I love to help people. And so I'd be like, hey, someone would call me up and say, hey, can you come and speak at this event? And I'm like, sure. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I'm so hyped, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, I tell everybody, I'd be like, hey, Jesse, guess what? I just got a call from Queens, New York. They want me to come and speak next Tuesday. I'm pumped. I'm excited. And I'm so excited. Mm-hmm. And I'm on this big high, right? Because now it's man, I get to do this thing that I wanted to do, or I'm going to challenge myself. And then the day comes mm-hmm. when the speaking engagement hits, right? Yeah. And again, totally normal, natural. I'd get out there, I'd be going to the event, and then I'd pull into the parking lot, right? And I see the cars out front, and I look up on the marquee, and there's my name, right? And I'm like, oh, cool, wow. Right? It's really cool.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, it goes, what am I doing?
Right?
What am I doing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? The nerves start to kick in, the anxiety starts coming on, and then I start trying to myself, why am I putting myself through this?
Mm-hmm.
I could be at home watching TV right now.
Right.
I could be watching Love Is Blind right now. Why am I out here with my heart beating and sweaty palms, putting pressure on myself to get out there and perform, or not perform, but help people?
Right.
Why am I doing this to myself?
Mm-hmm.
But so in that scenario though, it's too late. The tickets were bought.
Yeah.
If you catch my drift, right? The tickets are there. And you're going to go through the same thing after you buy the tickets. After the day that you're going to go up in this hot air balloon with your father, you're going to be like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And you know who you're going to be mad at?
Me?
Yeah. I was on that stupid podcast. And why did I could have picked anything. I could have said, I'm scared of, elevators, whatever, right?
If I could just say one more thing on that.
Yeah.
The second part of it that really stuck with me was when you were interviewing me, you went on a helicopter. How was that different, right? And how did you feel when you got off the helicopter, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking about how that made me feel amazing. It felt like $1 million. That was, I think, the second part of that really kept it with me was, I'm going to do this. It's going to be scary, but man, am I going to feel good when it's done. And I'm going to, while I'm getting in the wicker basket of, to go up in the air, I'm going to be cursing your name, I think, a little bit.
Yes, you will.
But when I get back down, man, I think it's going to be an amazing experience.
It is.
So
it really is.
That was just the second part I wanted to get out there.
Think about that. Visualize that for 2 seconds.
Sure.
Because that's part of one of the things. Here's a tip. I have a couple. I actually wrote out some notes, some tips and tricks and things to do to do your best life, right? To do it.
Yeah.
And one of those things was visualization, and meditation and getting onto it. So here's the thing. What's really profound of what you just said. When you were first talking, so like you said, you were thinking about the helicopter ride and that experience afterwards, right? And that's what you have to do is you have to replace your negative thoughts with positive thoughts.
Okay.
So before you were thinking about, balloon crashing.
Yeah.
Crashing. right? And so now if you can start thinking about that feeling of after you've done something that you were afraid to do or scared to do or procrastinated doing and did it, and that feeling. So those are huge markers in your life. And so that's why when you do something like that, right? And let's say when you get up in this air balloon and you conquer your fears and you don't want to do it, your physical body's screaming at you, your brain is screaming, your stomach's turned upside down, everything in your body saying, don't do this.
Right.
Don't do this because this could happen. Right? So we start thinking about what's the alternative? Well, this could happen. I could feel great. This could change my life. This is going to build memories with my father. This is a big moment in my life. And we have to keep thinking about the positive side of what can happen. Yes, bad things happen. Negative things happen. Not all the time, but they happen. But more so than not, you're going to get what you expect. You know what I mean? If you're expecting to have a horrible time, right? You're like, oh my God, you're visualizing that the whole time. Like, this is going to suck. Even if it doesn't crash, this sucks. I hate it, right?
That's so true. I would be miserable the whole time.
Yeah.
Because I would just be so petrified.
Yeah.
If I'm I don't know, if I'm internalizing it, I guess is maybe the better word for it. But yeah, you're totally right.
You have to take, and again, this is, for everybody, you have to take what you want to accomplish and work backwards. So think about this for a second.
Sorry.
Yeah. All right. No, cool. And again, if you're just joining, you're just tuning us, it's on last week's episode. I'll just repeat it again. So Jesse, It was Jesse's gross and great memories. We might have this incredible moment. I might feel proud of myself for doing it. All these great things that again, the difference in your life. If you really want to have this great life, the best life ever, it's learning to not talk yourself out of an experience that could change your life. Where the odds are. Like I'm not talking about, we have to stop making excuses for ourselves because that's all we're doing is we're making excuses. Well, this might happen, that might happen, or, you'll start even making other excuses into these scenarios that we're going to be embarrassed, we're humiliated, we're going to be, made fun of, different things like that. And we don't even realize it because we think of these big moments in life, but we don't realize, Jesse, that every single day as you're going through your life, you're going to hit these moments, little tiny decisions, little things that come up that you may avoid just to try to avoid a negative outcome. So every time you do have a positive outcome, that's what I'm saying. Every time you've done something, you have to always use that as like a remembrance. Like, hey, you know what? I felt like this before and I did this and it was okay. And I succeeded and I'm proud of myself and it worked. So we have to cut the excuses out. Big things, little things, and everything. So maybe we started too big.
You think so?
Maybe. Well, you're not off the hook. Don't get too excited. You've already signed up for this, so you're going to do it. But maybe we set it too high. There's such thing as like there's little goals. And I kind of look at it this way that if someone is really serious about changing their life, and when I say changing, it doesn't mean your life's terrible. That's not what I mean. It's just that you want to get from A to B, or you want to improve. You want to be a better whatever. You want to be a better father, better mother, better parent, better, better worker. Want to earn better money. You want to be just a better person. Whatever that is we have to set goals. We have to line them up, and we have to kind of decide that we have to set big goals, little goals. But the thing is, a lot of times we chomp off. We try to take the big goal off at the very beginning. And the big goal might be accumulation of a bunch of small goals put together, right? And little things that we need to get over. So, it's a big thing. But the reality is if you can get the cojones to do it, that big thing, that big experience would be a big fear that you got over, that you faced it, did it, and felt proud and exhilarated. That's like 10 little things, right? And then the little things are even littler, even smaller in your life, like little tiny things decisions you have to make, or whether like you think about careers, like I always talk to people that are always asking me questions about, hey, there's a job post at work and it's a promotion, but should I apply? Should I apply for that job? And I don't know if I have enough experience, blah, blah, blah has been here longer. Person A has been here longer. Person B is smarter than me. Person C has a bigger degree than I have. And, maybe I just won't apply because, I don't know. I just don't know. Should I apply? Should I not apply? And my thing's like, why not apply? The reality is that most people don't. They'll talk themselves out of it. They'll make all these excuses. I'm not smart enough. I've been here long enough. This person doesn't like me, or, the boss favors that person, or what it might be. And at the end of the day, you just don't know, right? You just don't know. But if you don't take little steps to find out, then A, you don't know how to improve yourself. But B, what if? Like, what if? Like, and I talked about this last week, that the only thing that I know I'm guaranteed in life right now is this second, this real minute we're in right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no guarantee for tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee from an hour from now.
Mm-hmm.
If someone said, like, and again, I'm going to be really dramatic when I say this to you, but don't take it that way because I'm just using it as an example.
Sure.
When you're like, you know what, I have till next week.
Yeah.
You're not guaranteed next week.
That's true. That's true.
Crap happens, man.
Yeah.
And things happen, and you don't know what's going to happen next week. And
Mm-hmm.
and if you said right now, hey, I've got the money, I've got the thing, I found the balloon guy, I know where I'm going, but I'll wait till through next week, right? Next Friday, because I've got time. I've got time. Well, who knows? Maybe that guy goes bankrupt. Maybe he closes down. Maybe something happens in his life. He's not offering balloon rides anymore. Oh shoot! And again, half of you is going, yay, but that defeats the purpose of you growing in what you want to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid something, your dad gets sick or you get sick, or what if you lose your job? You have no money left, right? Like those are things that we can't. There's no guarantee. The only thing that I know that is guaranteed is this moment in time. Tomorrow is not a guarantee for you, for me, for anybody. So the longer we put off things, and again, man, you're going to live a long life, right?
I hope so, yeah.
But think about it this way. You're going to live a long life, a long, successful life. But what if we thought about that premise and lived that premise that tomorrow's not guaranteed? What if we just lived that way?
Mm-hmm.
For how old are you? You got another 50, 60, 70 years in front of you?
I don't know about 70, but yeah, I'm almost 30. So.
Okay, so you got 70 years in front of you. Let's just say 70. You got 70 years.
To be 100, yeah.
Okay, right on, man. So you got 70 years to go. Now think about this. If you lived your life, okay, yeah, no worries. We have our technical issues as we go through. It must be raining somewhere.
It must be.
It must be a lightning storm somewhere that knocks our power out and everything else. So hopefully the feed's still going good. Okay, we're good with that. And you know what? Where you're watching this, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, you know what? Why don't you follow us? Why don't you?
Way too far down the road to
when I was 20 or 30 or whatever it might be. But again, if we can live in the present. So if you think about the fears that we were talking about last week, and these excuses that we're making, right? That somebody was making, is that it's all future, right? What if this happens? What if that happens? If I buy these tickets and I go, what if this is going to, and even like wake up and they're saying like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? What am I crazy? Now, what if this happens? Or what, you have all these things that roll here like, oh my God, now I'm going to come back to this podcast and he's going to land-base me and embarrass me in front of people. Like, yeah, right. So if you have a negative result, then you don't want that again. Right. So you don't want to let our viewers down or listeners down.
Right.
Like, come on. Yeah. I'm pulling for you. Like,
this is already.
There are people checking going, oh, shoot. Okay. Like, that's a.
People are tuning out.
0 for 1, man.
I'm turning the crowd against me on this.
No.
No, I'm just kidding.
But that's what I mean. Here's the thing. Don't feel bad about it. Don't take anything. And like you said, you're lucky there's time.
Yes.
Right? You're lucky there's another week, which is a good thing. And I know you're going to do it because I know you're going to push yourself. And I think you're going to see this amazing result from it. And again, if we just follow through and think about today and think about, that's why I call it doing life today.
Yeah.
Right?
Not doing life next week.
There is no, how do you know there's going to be a next week? Right? No one, who told you? Right? I heard someone say that the other day, actually. It's like, I'll do, that's going to happen next Tuesday. Well, who told you? Like, who told you? Who told you that you're going to be able to do something on Tuesday?
Right.
You don't know.
You never know.
You don't know what's going to happen. So, in every, seize the moment, live in the moment, and be present. The other thing that happens to us as well, and when I say be present and live today, is that if we're thinking future-wise about different things in life, right? Oh man, when I retire, this could happen, and what happens is you're missing out on the present, right? Because now we might be sitting here today having a conversation, but we are so consumed with what, a bill that I have to pay next week, or my rent's coming up, or whatever's coming up, or I got this going on at work, that our brain is just in that mode, and we're missing the surface level, right?
Yeah.
And you miss out on life. And you miss out on life. And so that was one of my tips. You really want to do life today. You really want to live your best life. It's being present and living that moment, right? And living like there's no tomorrow, like there's nothing can happen. Like anything could happen, right?
Can I ask for just a little clarification? Yeah. Now, I've heard something a little bit similar to that before about, you got to live like there's no tomorrow. I think that's
like a song, I think.
Yeah. Now, here's what I run into the problem a little bit of. just on my own level, and I
Yeah.
hope you can clarify this for me.
Yeah.
When I hear that, I immediately go to, well, then I'm just not going to go to work today.
Oh yeah, of course.
Because if there's no tomorrow, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I going to work? But you still have to go to work. You still have to do the daily things
Yeah,
that
right.
everyone needs to do
Mhm.
to keep functioning. So is it more of like a live like there's no tomorrow, but plan like I'm going to live forever kind of thing? Or
Well, think about it this way. So
Okay.
you just said, okay, yeah, if tomorrow's not guaranteed, then forget it. I'm not gonna go to work because it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens if there is a tomorrow?
That's true.
Then you're messed up.
So I have to plan. I should plan for both occasions.
Well, it's like this. you don't dump your responsibilities because again, like you said, you can't. If you don't have a job, you can't buy the tickets to go on.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So you have to. But what I'm saying with live like there's no tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But I put that in the context that if you have an opportunity, if there's something today that you could do or should do today,
Mm-hmm.
and you've heard, don't put it off tomorrow when you can do today, right?
Yes.
Because tomorrow is not guaranteed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you live that way, and again, I'm not talking about responsibilities. I'm not saying, hey, you know what, just let's go party,
Right.
Like it's 1999. I don't know if that's too old for you, but
No, I was
you know that one?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, good.
I'm not that young.
Yeah, but if you put that in context, and what I mean that when it comes to decision making, when it comes to living outside the box, when it comes to an opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not going to cost you. I mean, there's risks. There's good risks and bad risks. I don't know if you heard that before too. Like there's
Good risk and bad risk.
there's a good risk. There's good risks to take. Like it's risky to, it's a good risk to take to step out and with someone you like and ask them on a date.
Sure.
It's a risk because the bottom line is if it doesn't work out,
Mm-hmm.
right? All that could happen is you might be hurt a little bit. You might be embarrassed.
Right.
But there's also bad risks, and that's not going to work today because you could lose your job, which is a bad risk.
That is a bad risk.
Right? I'm the proponent that says yes, you seize the moment, live in that moment. But I'm also I'm old school too. You don't leave a job to have a job. One of those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think you continue improving. And what I would say to people as well when it comes to things like that is, let's say you have a job opportunity or an opportunity to improve yourself, move up in your career, move up in your job. Don't say, I will next year.
Mm-hmm.
I will in 2 years from now. I will in 3 years from now. If you want something done, because number one, you're saying, hey, I need this as soon as possible. Well, you're as soon as possible. Okay, I'd love to be without a job, no cares in the world, bank account full to the rim. I
Right.
love that. I'd love it. That'd be fantastic. But that's not a real reality, in this moment right now. I'm happy where I'm at, so that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But again, we have to put everything in a realm of reality. So, for example, deciding to wear, stepping on your fear and chasing a fear and going on a hot air balloon, it's not going to cost you anything.
That's
right?
true.
Again, it's a fear that you're going to get over. You're not going to lose something for doing it. You're not going to lose a job. You're not going to do everything. So yeah, I'm not a person that says, hey, you know what, just kick it off and it's flip flops and sandals and let's just forget about life.
Right.
I'm talking about actually making calculated risks that make sense to you. But I'm really in the context. Really, it's more about personal growth, personal what you want to do and what you want to be and how you want to build yourself up to get to that point,
Mm-hmm.
right? And procrastination is a killer.
Man,
It is
yes.
something that I read an article one day that somewhere in the realm of 91 to 92% of everybody is a procrastinator or can procrastinate on something.
Yeah.
Right. Or some, there's a lot of things that some people procrastinate on one thing because they don't want to do it. And so it's a pain in the butt. But
Right. I'm definitely one of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely a procrastinator. Well, that's these tickets are exhibit.
Yeah.
A.
Well, but and here's
Is that something I can correct, though? Is it something I can fix?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. You have to have accountability in life. You have to, because eventually you're going to be like, I can't go over there anymore because I can't show up again
Right.
and say I didn't do something. And you know what I mean? I'm not saying every time, but some things are, hey, I need more help with this. Or, hey, I couldn't do it yet, or whatever.
Right.
Now we're buying your excuse this week, so okay, so we're good. We got another week, and that's great. But let's say you come back next week, you're like, yeah, I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why not? right?
That's a
And,
good
and,
question.
and so we get through that. And you're like, okay, good. Whew, okay, we finished that podcast. And then we move on. But then the next week comes, eventually you're going to like, okay, I can't just keep going there and say I didn't do it.
Right.
So that's an actual form of accountability that are put in place. As an example, if you heard people that, go to the gym,
Yeah.
they say that if you go to the gym and you hire a personal trainer,
Mhm.
you're 90% more likely to meet some of your goals because you have accountability. You're not just showing up there, I'm not going to go today.
Yeah.
I don't feel like going today. Someone else is counting on you,
Mhm.
right? Someone else is waiting on you.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to do it. So you need accountability.
That works for me. And like, I know maybe at this moment I'm not, a shining example of fitness at this moment, but right after high school, that is exactly what I did. I was like, I'm gonna get into shape, and I got a trainer, and man, it worked. Like I can't believe so well. Then university happened, and after university, I kind of let things go a bit. But I've recently gotten back into the gym.
Perfect.
And I'm going with friends now.
Okay.
And that is what's kept me accountable over time. Because even when I don't want to go, I know that my buddies are going to be there, and I don't want to be the one guy who's not going to be there. You know what I mean? So, and we all have different goals and different things. But and it's worked. And I mean, so far, I've only been going for about 3 weeks now. But I'm very much on board with that. I'm very much committed to continuing that.
It's a huge part of accomplishing anything you want, right? Because let's be honest, we're the worst accountability partners to ourselves.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh man.
But do you see what you did there? I was going to throw this back at you again.
Do it.
What you did was so cool. It's like, hey, you know what? When I got into high school, I wanted to lose weight. I wanted to get in the gym.
Yeah.
I had a personal trainer. It worked.
It did.
Right. And so what you did there is you replaced this negative thought of like, oh, I got to go to the gym. I got to work out, where a positive result. So this time was probably a lot easier to sign up to go to the gym because you can, hey, you know what? I did this before and it wasn't so bad. I'm going to do it again.
100% correct.
All right. So that was what I was thought proves my point before I was talking about even with the balloon ride. It's like, hey, what victories have I had?
Yeah.
What worked?
Mm-hmm.
And it said, talk yourself out of those excuses. No, I did it before. I felt better. It was more exciting. I had more energy. Those are the things that you need to focus and concentrate on and stay in the realm of that real moment in real life. And again, it's interesting because you didn't say, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm
going to start going next week
or next summer. It's like,
No, I went today.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's what you said. Hey, I'm at the gym. I'll be here soon. You did the show. I'm like, right on.
Yeah.
Right. So you made a decision. You did it. Yeah. And again, that's living like there's no tomorrow. Living like it's not guaranteed. Living like, hey, could do it next month. I can do it after summer because summer's cool. I'm going to drink beer and go to a party, lay out.
Right.
But you got to step through and do it.
Yeah.
And so I would ask anybody, listening or watching, what is your excuse? What is your procrastination? What is it that you are holding back from that's making you not doing it? What is that? Like, and if you put it in the comments, like, what's holding you back? What is your fear? What's your excuse? Mm-hmm. And then, once you even like identify it, like, here's what I know what it is. Like, I know what's holding you back. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing is, what is it? Is it a fear? Is it a PSD? Is it, you have to identify why you're not going to step out and do something, why you're making an excuse. And then we can move forward and start really diving into what's really going to help, what's going to change, what's going to happen there. So yeah, I'd love to hear, if you're in the comments or whatever, what's your excuse? What's holding you back from life? Is there something that's just, what is it? Because I guarantee if you start looking at it from that perspective, right, it's not as big as you think it is.
Giving me assignments to do, because then I think that takes it beyond, us saying, oh, this is what Jesse could do in theory. Yeah. And it's like, I'm going to apply these to my life. Yeah. And let's see what we can really do here.
Yeah, let's watch what happens. Let's see, and let's check in. And if you apply the principles, right, the principles that we talk about and we're going to go through, I guarantee you there's going to be things, some small things, some big things, and again, I say this, and I want to be really, really careful when I say this, that there's no condemnation or no, if you stumble or you can't do something. But then it's like, okay, why not? Like, why didn't we do it? What held us back? What can we kind of change or tinker with to see if we can kind of move through that? Because the reality is, I'm not throwing you in a scavenger hunt. I'm saying, hey, go do this for fun. And you're like, oh, well, I've never done that before. I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
You keyed on something that I can see in your eyes. It's something you're like, oh my gosh, you wanted to do it, right?
Yes.
So whatever it is that people want to accomplish, right? They want it. So then let's provide some steps on how to get there.
Right.
And we are our biggest critic, and we're also like our biggest. I always call it like the talker outer.
Yeah.
The talker outer. And you've read books before, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Books,
I've read a couple. Yeah.
But if you read any, personal growth books or success books, they're always like, get away from negative people, stay away from negative people. They're always like, hey, if you run in a circle where everybody's negative and everybody's kind of, having a stitch and bitch party, and get those people out of your life, and run away from those people. But and which is great advice, because I don't like negative. I mean, I don't have negative people in my life. They drive me insane.
Sure.
Because, they're always the saying things can't happen. I'm like, I'm a realist. I know that not everything's going to happen, but I want to believe that it's possible.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And that if we do stuff and change our life in a way that we can do it, it could work.
Absolutely.
But the thing that they miss when we get that advice is, rid yourself of negative people. But the reality is your inner voice that's talking to you is the most negative person ever.
Yeah, it totally can be.
You're your biggest critic, and you're also your biggest negative pushbacker.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're self-talking yourself. So it's all about the self-talking thing that we have to get rid of. So here's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about procrastination. There's this where we kind of throw this out the window.
Oh, no.
No, it's perfect though. It's perfect because again, that's the one thing about this podcast that we can bleed in because it's a real.
Yes.
Okay. So we had a real life example. And so let's work this through, because the thing is that, anybody that watched or listened last week, and we said, what's your hot air balloon? You get out and do something, try something that, whatever, there are some people that did it. If you did it, awesome, right? Anybody listening, watching that did it, fantastic.
You did better than me this week.
Well, it's not even better. They did something, right? Something that they wanted to do, and they maybe accomplished it, and some didn't.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because now we can look at, okay, why didn't we do it?
Okay.
Right? And so what held us back? And maybe those are things that we can, and then we work on, and we can kind of get to where you do. So we're talking like excuses and procrastination.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is, Jesse, and I'm just going to be completely honest with you.
Oh, yeah, please.
I had 100% confidence in you.
Really?
But I titled this podcast "No More Excuses."
Oh no!
So
I feel
don't know
terrible.
how that happened.
I feel terrible.
No, but think about it though. We left here and I had 100% confidence that you were going to do it.
Yeah.
Right. And then I'm thinking, okay, where are we going to go with the podcast? What are we going to teach?
Man.
And it was no excuses. So somewhere inside, I'm like, this is a big one.
Yeah.
Right. So this could happen. And now we might have to work through something. So I was kind of prepared for this.
Okay.
If you want to be honest with you.
Okay.
So now we look at that again. There's no more excuses. And what can we do to do that? So again, we have to put that in practice. So when you wake up every morning, what's the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning?
I drink some water. Okay. To hydrate myself.
Okay, so
how specific?
Okay, good. So that's good. That's very good for you. What's the first thing you look at, or the first thing that you grab when you get up?
I grab my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do you look at?
I check the weather as my first thing.
Okay.
I try to not look at too much social media right off the bat. It's hard. Like, I'm not going to say I'm good at it all the time. Yeah. I try to morning work hours not do too much, because I like the YouTube, the Reddit, all the things. I'll get stuck in TikTok Reels for hours if no one, I'll just look up and time's gone by. Sometimes.
Exactly.
And so for that reason, I do try not to, but I do check text messages, I guess, like things like that. If
See what's going on.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is that fair?
No, it's very
okay. All right.
Oh, it's fantastic, okay. And that's normal.
I hope I'm not dodging too much.
No, it's normal. It's totally normal.
Okay.
Most people get up, and here's the thing: they'll say, "Hey, I got to check the weather because I got to know to work or whatever."
Yeah.
But then as soon as you open your phone, you got 7 emails. Oh, what's going on here? And then boom, right? Or, oh my God, someone sent me a DM. Oh, someone slid in my DMs. I'm going to check and see what that is, right? And the whole thing there. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay. Mm-hmm. But when we first wake up in the morning, we're setting our day up. Mm-hmm. Our day is going to be set from that moment forth, right? The worst thing, the very, very worst thing, and this is huge. So,
okay.
And if you listen or watching, this is something that again, no condemnation, I would say, but the worst thing is there's a thing that people do that's the worst thing they can do, and I don't want you to do that anymore. I've got this ready to roll here, man. It's on the tip of my tongue. I want to tell you what it is.
The drum roll's just getting louder.
It's like we're not recording here.
It is just not wanting to go. Oh my gosh.
That's okay.
Give me one more shot here.
Yeah, I'm going to give you one more shot, and then I'm going to go because we're letting everybody's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
just bear with us for 2 minutes, everybody, if you don't mind. And I'm going to release you, and then I'm going to give you something to replace it with. So if you're listening or watching, grab a pen and paper, because I want you to play along and do this, because this can be something that you'll notice if you do this regularly, even for a couple of days, and then you look back on those days, you'll realize that this helped. Okay, this really, really helped. As long as we can hear like this, I'm okay. You can't watch the news first thing in the morning.
The news, really?
No.
That's the big thing, eh?
News articles, news feeds, news anything. And people do. They turn the TV on and watch the new morning news. They grab, my days used to grab a newspaper, read the news. Right. They go on their phones, they read all the headlines, they look at the Apple headlines or whatever it is on their phone. If you read the news first thing in the morning, hit the like button, because I just want to see if I prove my point. But it's so we're saying the news is the most negative thing you can watch. It's all the bad things that are happening in the world.
Right.
Like, you might get a little segment at top of the hour of a good thing that someone did, a good Samaritan, but you're seeing everything that burnt down, everything that was robbed, everybody, every whatever car accidents, whatever it might be, bad things in the world that are having wars and everything else. Yeah. That sets your mind already in a negative fashion. Totally. So what we want to do is we want to replace that. Okay. And if you're a person that goes to your phone, then you're going to do it in your phone. Okay. If you're a person that writes things on a pad of paper, then you get out a piece of paper and write them down. But we're going to write down, and I know this could sound funny to some people, but actually we're some positive affirmations about the day. Oh, okay. Oh, I like that. Yeah, so that's the very first thing that you're going to feed your eyes with, feed your soul with, and rather than anything negative, it's going to be completely positive. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'll repeat that. Okay. So the news is what people have to avoid, because news is negative. Yes. Okay. The first thing you look at in the morning, you have to feed it with positivity. So whatever it might be. So what I want you to do is, again, if you're a phone person, I want you to go to your notes section of your phone, put in your phone. If you're writing on a piece of paper, whatever it is that you're going to see and avoid. And I'm not saying don't watch the news. You can watch it if you want. I don't.
Just don't have that be the first thing that enters your mind.
Right. Because it's like, oh my God, there's so many fires. Look how the world's blowing up. Right. What's the point?
You're not going to, the first headline is going to be, everything's great today. We hope you have a fantastic day and live your life to the fullest.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. Look at all these great things that are happening in the world. They might show that, but it's always at the end of the last 30 minutes. Right.
It's like, oh, look at this cute dog that somebody's got.
Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to write down 5 things, okay? One of them I want to throw in there is that tomorrow's not guaranteed. Okay. And then I want you to write down like affirmations, right? So today, you know what I mean? Like today, I feel good. I feel good. I am going to live my life to the fullest. I am going to live my best life today. Mm-hmm. I am going to look for opportunities. I'm not going to shy away. Even if you're trying to pump yourself up, right? Like if something happens. So, for example, this week for you, it's going to be, I can't wait to buy the tickets.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Like I'm man, I feel so good. This is so because my dad is going to be so excited.
Yes.
Right? You write that down every day. I am so excited to buy my dad's birthday present because he is going to be pumped. Okay. First thing you see in the morning. Just 5 things. And again, don't go into like big, I don't want you writing paragraphs and stuff, but I want you to write 5 things, 5 positive things in your life. And then I want one thing you're grateful for. Okay. I'm grateful, I'm grateful for whatever it might be, my family, my spouse, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, whatever anybody has. You write down a gratitude thing. So the very first 5 thoughts that go in your brain are going to be positive things. So I want things that are positive in your life right now that I like. I'm so thankful for my family. I'm so thankful for my girlfriend. I'm so thankful for my job. Whatever it is, something that you really, truly are thankful for. Mm-hmm. Something that if you didn't have today, you'd be sad. Yeah. And I want you to write that down. Okay, that's one of them. Okay. Right? So it's one thing you're grateful for. Okay, one thing that you are going to try to accomplish this week, right? Mm-hmm. But it's not just I'm going to buy the balloon tickets, right? Because that's like, okay, I know, right?
It's more like a grocery.
What's the emotion behind it? What's going to happen? I am going to buy it because it's going to be so amazing to share this experience with my dad. Yeah. And then what you won't even realize is when you read that first thing in the morning, your body is going to release some dopamine in your brain that's actually going to give your body some form of that you're doing it. And you're going to set your whole day up for success. So again, a gratitude or 2, something that you're working on this week, something that you want to accomplish this week, but it's going to be tough, but I'm going to do it, right? I'm going to do it. So for example, if you had, if someone out there is dealing with a job task that they have to get done this week and they know they have a deadline, and it has to be done. You write it down. I am so, I am so excited to do this task, even though if they're not, right? They don't want to do it, they want to go. But why? Because how are you going to feel afterwards? Because when I'm done this task, I'm going to feel accomplished. I'm going to feel proud that I finished it. My colleagues are going to be happy. My client is going to be so excited to get this, right? So you got to think of end results, the positive end results that are going to come of it, and you write that down. So gratitudes, things you're working on, everything else, but always with emotion with it, right?
Okay.
I'm excited, because this is going to happen and it's going to lead to this. 5 things, and I want you to, starting tomorrow.
Okay.
I want you to dedicate. I want you to, and again, you're going to put in your phone because you're going to instead of look, and I don't even look at the weather yet.
Okay.
Because this is only going to take a second. I'm not saying it's going to take a big lump of your day.
Yeah.
But you read these 5 things. First thing, okay, I can read them. I'm going to read them, and then go look at the weather.
Okay.
And I just want you to do that for this week.
Okay.
That's all you want to do.
I understand.
Can you do it?
I will do it, yes.
Can you do it?
I can do it, and I will do it.
So, you know what? Next week, Jesse.
Yeah.
It's like a double.
I know.
It's a double dose.
I know. Here I thought I was like, after another week, I'll just say, it's in the works. And no, you were right. Like it's
a double dose next week.
It's a double dose.
So
I really don't want to fail.
We need to tune in next week, and you need to tune in and find out, did Jesse buy the balloon tickets for his dad?
Yes.
And he better have bought them. I'm telling you right now, because there is going to be some heck to pay if not. And number 2 is, did you write your 5 things down?
Yes.
Did you do them every day?
Got it.
Okay. Now, and then we're going to go through that. We're going to unpack that next week.
Okay.
Next week.
Do you want me to bring it in next week?
Yeah, I'd like you to bring it in.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me, how did you do? Did you do it? And this one's an easy one.
I appreciate it.
I will not let you off. Like this one is like, we're going to get the whips out because this is a really simple thing to do. Okay. So you commit to it, you do it, you make sure you do it. And then I just want, and then we'll talk about how it felt and what happened and where we went.
Got it.
And then when you buy those tickets, I want to know, like, is it something, do you think it helped? And again, whatever it is, for our viewers, our listeners, you want you to do the exact same things.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay. Some things could be static. Right?
Okay.
Like it could be like, hey, I'm so thankful for my family, or I'm so thankful for that. Could be in there every single week. That's okay. But once we buy the Bluetooth, then we can pull that out. And what else do you want to accomplish this week? Maybe it is a job test. Maybe you want to go out and look for a new job, or you have a job interview coming up that you're freaking out about, right? Again, it's writing down, I'm so excited for that interview because what could it lead to? Because I'm going to feel so strengthened when it's over. I'm going to feel positive.
In 5 minutes after I wake up, or
nothing's going to change. Exactly. It's not going to happen. Feel that emotion. You're starting to visualize the win is what you're doing, right?
I like that.
How long have we been going here for?
About 52 minutes.
We're feeding that brain, so it's the positive before the negative.
Okay.
Yeah. Because anything can happen with the weather. Because you wake up, it's like, oh my God, it's going to snow. It's July.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. So we're almost an hour. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's leave it like that for this week. So remember, everything. I don't have time for this, and you start running.
It's still going to rain whether I look at it.
You know what? Like the program. Follow us on all the social medias. It's at Doing Life Today. You find us wherever it might be. The podcast is going to be airing on Spotify and Apple and all the different channels. Probably probably about a couple of weeks now, a couple of weeks to a month, and we'll have a launch party for that. So we're going to have a live launch party. It's going to be really, really fun. Yeah. But again, if you want to live your best life, you're the only person that can make that happen. So tune in, stay with us, be accountable. We're talking about accountability. Accountability is so huge. And if you need, you need accountability to follow through on your goals. And you know what? Maybe this show could be your accountability. Where not just yours. I'm talking viewers too, or viewers and listeners, where they come and say, all right, you know what? I'm going to go along with Jesse. I'm not just going to go there just to see if Jesse did it. I'm not coming, don't be that person that says, I'm coming back next week to see if Jesse did it, but I'm coming back next week because I want to do something too. And I'm going to go along. I'm playing along. I want to be accountable, and I want to, call it on it. And you know what? If you want to send us a DM or send us some messages, link in the bio, send us a DM. Yeah. And if there's something you want to be accountable to, tell us what it is. What are you slaying this week? What are you doing? And we can go along this ride with you. And so Jesse, next week, don't forget, tune in next week. You want to know, did Jesse buy the tickets? Actually, we'll start small. Did Jesse put his 5 things down?
Yes.
Right. And did he do them every morning for a week? That's it. That's it. And the big one, did Jesse buy the tickets, or did he let all of us down again? And I know he's not going to, because I am already going to tell you, it's not going to be about no excuses. But Jesse, No more excuses. We're going to do
No
this.
more
man.
excuses.
We're going to do it. You're going to live your best life. It's going to be a great life. You're a phenomenal person, as everybody else is that's listening. If you've been listening or watching, I know that you're putting time into yourself, and that's why you're here. So let's just not put the time in. Let's do the time. Let's
right.
make sure we take advantage of it. So we're
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And thanks for everybody who's watching, listening. We
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
you.
for listening.
Follow us on all the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever it is that you get your social media. We are there.
Nice.
Check us out. And come do life with us. We want to do life with you.
We'll
All
see
right.
you next time.
Talk to you later. All right. Bye now.
Thank you.
TikTok Live.